here.
Casey, what's up? Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to reorder something here. Thanks, Bumblefoot.
Casey got promoted to lead sound engineer.
Hey, congratulations, Casey. And you know, you can say that into the mic, too.
I did.
Okay. Oh, and go ahead and go to the front screen. And I was going to say, if anybody has any questions, I'm just mixing right now, trying to catch up on work and all that. And this is actually a song by the group Rehab that I just got done recording, and I got to work on the mix. I'm just working on the music today. But if anybody has any questions, let me know. Mike, I was... Emoji and Chase and Cash. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. But yeah, if anybody's got any questions, I'll be here for about an hour mixing, just working on some stuff, doing a little bit of arrangement and stuff. So let me know if there's anything you need to know. Casey, congratulations. That's pretty dang cool, man. Glad to hear that. Yeah, you can go back to the... Oh, here we are. Why am I getting delay on my bass drum? That's so weird. I don't understand. Snare drum 2, snare drum 2. I'm getting, maybe it's because it's coming in the overheads. Fuck with that later. Yeah, am I getting bleed through on the kick on the hi-hat? Hold on. No? Probably coming in the overheads here, or the overheads. Why do I have... Oh, hold on. I wonder if I'm sending to the overheads. I thought I automated that down. No, they're off. Ain't that. I don't know. Something weird. I'll swing back to that. Oh, hold on. I got to automate that too. I don't know why I have that automated. Why am I automating my... Oh, these can come in a little bit. All right, now let me bring in the program drum hi-hats because I know those were a little loud in the beginning. So like right here. This over here. I want those a little quieter in the beginning. Let me do... Oh, I'm not looping. Whoa.
Hey, Zach. Oh, all the way from Jamaica. Hi. Josh Cobb says, hey.
Hey, Josh, what's up? Hey, man. So I got your hi-hat up, dude. Check it out in the beginning here. Just wanted to feature the hi-hat a little bit more. So it's like coming in here. Oh, no, it's right here. I can probably still bring the program hi-hat down there. Gotta hear your hi-hat work there, Josh. Very nuanced, Josh. Very nuanced. Might be a little bright, though. Let me bring this back a little bit. I feel like the organ could come up overall a little bit more. It gets kind of quiet in this verse, though, because Danny didn't seem to hear the organ in there. I thought it was loud enough. Yeah, just bring it up overall. Thanks, Hike TV. Yeah, this is a rehab song. Just a new one I'm working on. Really liking the way this one's coming out. Not sure about this loop here. I might mess with that. Of course, later in the song, it seems like her hi-hats are too loud. Hold on. Let me go back. See, now I'm obsessing on the hi-hats. Hold on. I got to go to volume trim. I might need to bring you down because here... get to the chorus.
Yes, I do think this will be posted on Billy's YouTube.
Oh, yeah, it will be. Yeah, I'm going to bring down the hi-hats once we get into the chorus and bring in your hi-hats, Josh, bringing them down a little bit, just to kind of balance with the program hi-hats, which are at that point coming up. You know, they're getting louder there. Yeah, I might be filtering them a little too much. Yeah, I might. Okay, maybe I'm pushing the high end just a teeny bit too much. Yeah, Vision Music. I'm right now. I'm actually using a limiter on my hi-hat. I might switch to a compressor. Sometimes I use this one here. This is the Massey L2007, which is one of my favorite, but I don't know if it's getting enough. I might hit a compressor on it because that way I can get more control over the attack and stuff like that. So I don't know. I hadn't made up my mind yet. I also kind of feel like at the very beginning here, some of these hi-hat parts, there's like a couple notes that just seem, you know, me being me. Like, for instance, I'll probably end up going through here and doing stuff like this. Like, oh, I want that one little hi-hat louder, you know? Or he might do, sometimes he does like these little things, like right here. He's going like... There's a couple little hi-hats I just want to bring up, being that I will tweak the hell. I mean, literally, I will go through every freaking note in this song and on every instrument, and every note, everything will be examined. And, you know, I guess this kind of goes beyond just mixing here. This is a certain amount of production here that I'm doing as I'm mixing, because production goes all the way into mixing and stuff like that. Hey, if I start talking a lot, you can come to my front camera. Oh, before I get too much further, I think I should thank the team that's here with me today over running the cameras and paying attention to everything. We've got Harper. Harper, show yourself. Say hi.
What's up?
Talking to the mic. Say hi.
How's it going?
There he is over there, my savior. And then over here we've got Crystal.
I don't know where my camera's at.
Oh, your camera's right there.
Okay.
She's like keeping track of the chat, putting links in, you know, and then if anybody's got a question, because I'm mixing and I'm not paying so much attention to the chat, if anybody's got a question, she alerts me and lets me know. So if anybody's got any questions, yeah, if she can.
Instagram can be a little hard to keep track of.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Instagram's a little slow. And by the way, if for some reason you're having problems with the audio on Instagram, I am streaming on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. And Crystal, you should make sure everybody knows that, because like we've had a lot of problems with Instagram where it just freezes up, you can't hear things right and all that. So I'm on all three of those platforms right now. So
Usually we do simulstream Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram.
Cool. Oh yeah, Vision Music. Yeah, that limiter. Now I will tell you, it only works in Pro Tools. It doesn't work. It's only AAX. It only works in Pro Tools, but it's a great limiter. I use it all the time. I mix in Ableton a lot, and I work in Ableton, and unfortunately, it's not there. So I gotta come up with other solutions for that. But like I said, if anybody's got any questions, just throw them up there, and Kit will let you will alert me. Anyway. See, I like that. That right there is just beautiful. I'm just going to bring that up just a teeny bit, a little teeny clip gain here, so it hits whether I'm hitting a limiter or a compressor, but I'll also do a teeny bit of volume trim automation right there, because I really like that intro. It's very Stuart Copeland, very Police. That was one of the things about working on this song that was just a lot of fun. It's definitely like got some reggae stuff in there, but it's kind of got some Police stuff happening, which is one of my favorite bands. Yeah, this little section here, and here's the thing about this song. This song's got all these different, I'm just kind of going through and touching the big things that I know I need to do, but eventually each section, like the intro, the second half of the first verse, the first chorus, the second verse, actually, every section of the song is going to be like almost a completely different mix. Both verses, the mix will be different in both parts of the verse because I'm introducing different elements. Both the choruses are kind of different, and then the outro is a whole other thing. So once I kind of go through and kind of hit some things I know I want to pay attention to, there'll be a lot of time where I just literally loop one section and kind of get that mix, and then I got to make sure that they all transition properly. But this is not uncommon with me with the way I produce. A lot of my songs, the ones I'm producing, it's very rarely a static kind of production. Every section has its own identity. And there's some things with the vocals here because I used 2 different takes of Danny's lead vocals, Danny from Rehab. So he's got like 2 different takes, and I'm not going to say where they come from. It's a secret. Nobody's noticed it in the band yet, but they will now if this gets out and they'll see it. They're like, wait, what take are you talking about? But definitely I had to change the EQ. It switches over at a certain point.
Couple little questions about the stream. Are you going through an interface?
My stream? Okay, so the way my stream is working, I've got I don't have my little camera thing here where I can show my gear, but I've got my whole production rig here, and I just send 2 outputs from my DAW, whether I'm in Pro Tools or Ableton. That goes into a little mixer. Hey, go to the room shot real quick, and maybe they can see. Yeah, there's a mixer right here. So all the music I'm working on, I'm on 2 computers, by the way, so I'm on 2 separate computers. All the music is going into this mixer here, and then, go to the room shot again. And then on the mixer, my microphone, Harper's microphone, and Kit's microphone comes into the mixer. So the show's kind of being mixed on this mixer. That goes into a PC, which is sitting down over here, and all the cameras are hooked up to the PC. So all the streaming is being handled by the PC, and then my Mac, all it's doing is the music and nothing. That's it. I'm just concentrating on the music right now. So I hope that answers your question. And the interface I'm using for going into the PC is just a little Behringer 2-channel interface that Justin from the Risky Biscuit, actually the whole Risky Biscuit band, bought for me as a gift. It was very, very nice. So
shout out to Risky Biscuit on Twitch.
Yeah, check out Risky Biscuit. Maybe throw a link up there. kit if you could. They've been huge supporters of mine. And I got to tell you, as I started this stream, there were times I'd be talking to Justin and I'd say, man, I need a couple of 50-foot HDMI cables. And then, 2 days later, an Amazon package shows up and he had bought me two 50-foot HDMI cables or something like that, which is really, really nice. So they've been huge supporters of mine.
Some comments on the way the aspect ratio works in Instagram, too, with, like, trying to get the DAW up there.
Yeah. I'm just so... Okay, so in case anybody's wondering, that's another thing. We were scrambling right before we went online today. Everything started acting weird. In OBS, in case anybody's interested, I'm streaming to Twitch and YouTube at the same time. I'm going to Instagram. I have a plugin. There's a OBS plugin called Vertical something or other, and what it does is it allows you to set up vertical views, and then it mirrors whatever I do. So if, like, on the regular version, my widescreen version, I hit front camera or DAW view, I can set up these other views of I'm trying to think if there was a way I could show this on the stream right now, but I can't. I hadn't figured that part out yet. But I can mirror, so I can set up all these other views in Instagram so it'll mirror that. And I went ahead and did that one where it flips sideways. I know it might be a pain in the butt, but otherwise I don't know how to get the whole screen, Pro Tools screen, onto this. I hate the vertical mode, man. It drives me nuts. It's like it's not how we look at the world. We don't look at the world like this. We look the whole world the way our eyes see is widescreen, folks. So, but yeah, that's what that is. It's a little plugin I've got, and it was giving me some hell earlier today. But yeah.
And then I got a question here from DJ Rel. He says, are you using near-field monitors to mix this record?
Okay, DJ, right now, let's go back to does it show it on the room shot, Harper? You can kind of see it. So right here, I've got some NS10Ms. Yamaha NS10Ms, and then I've got these, you can't really see them, these big Hafler speakers with a subwoofer, and Hafler went out of business, unfortunately. These are TRM8s, and I've had them for years. I've been mixing on these for like 20 years, so I have some spare woofers in the back. When they run out, I don't know what I'm going to do. That's why I don't mix too loudly. But yeah, so I'm using near fields. I've been mixing a little loud today, but sometimes, usually when I'm mixing, most of my mixing is done on the Yamahas, and I'm keeping the volume down like at conversation level. Any other questions? I've not been paying attention to the chat.
We're pretty caught up.
Okay.
Hey, Yuki.
Oh, hold on. Why am I not hearing anything? Oh, here we go. Ooh. Well, that guitar has a lot of low end in it. How does it sound here? That might create a little something in there later on. Let me just go ahead and prepare myself for that. It's just a little bit it gets kind of boomy in the low end on this thing. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on in this song, but I don't think it ever gets below that. But somewhere right.
One of your productions has a lot of stuff going on in it?
Yeah, of course.
Well, that's a surprise.
What are you saying? Yeah, kitchen sink. We call it kitchen sink production. Kitchen sink productions. We throw in everything. The kitchen sink. But there are no bagpipes on this song, though. And I kept mentioning bagpipes to Danny, and he would look at me. I was like, I was just kidding, Danny. I'm not going to put bagpipes on the song. But one day, I will put bagpipes on the song, on some song. It's going to happen one day. Woo! I love that. Okay, so then right here we go. Comes in now. That's Doyle. Here's my guitar part. Oh, I see something I got to fix. Yeah, my wah-wah pedal was going out when I was working on this part. My wah-wah pedal just kept turning off and on, and I couldn't get it to work. So I was lucky to get this part done because it died right after I finished putting the part down. I don't know what's up with that. Okay, so like if I was a better guitar player, maybe I wouldn't have to do little things like this. But you know what? I'm going to do what I got to do to get the job done.
You're in Pro Tools today, right?
Yeah, I'm in Pro Tools. Thank God for clip gain, huh? Clip gain.
What's your take on mastering negative 14 loofs?
Oh my God.
I never found that to be commercially loud. Do you master as mix or do you leave headroom?
Well, okay. First off, all that luff stuff and volume, I don't know, man. All I know is that I just try to make it sound as good as possible. Like when I'm mixing for the client, my levels are like right up at 0, and I'm putting a limiter on there. Clients got to hear that stuff in there. They're not going to like the mix. When I send it to mastering, I don't turn off my limiter. I just kind of back off the threshold a little bit, but I do leave some headroom. I leave about, I know technically speaking, this is probably not right, but I leave about 1.5 dBs of headroom at the top, and I just do that. Like actually, this is what I've been using as the final plug-in on my master fader. This is M Limiter X, and right now the ceiling's just negative 0.15. But when I'm doing the final, when I'm sending the mix to mastering, I turn the ceiling here down to negative 1.5 just to give them some headroom, and then I leave it up to the mastering guy to figure out what luffs and all that stuff. Man, people explain that stuff to me. You know, to be honest with you, it's just like, I just try to make it sound good. If I was doing final output for like movies and TV shows and all that sort of thing, I'd probably have to worry about that more. But to be honest with you, it's the Wild West out there now. Like I just want this stuff to pop on YouTube and all that. You know, it's like So I know that's probably not the right answer, and somebody's going to yell at me about it. But you know, hey man, that's just how I do it.
And then a suggestion, you should make a video about your how you set up your live streams.
I actually do have a video, I think, on my YouTube channel about my streaming setup, but I've changed it so much. And I got to tell you, man, like doing this whole live stream thing, like setting up the cameras and learning, it's been the hardest thing I've ever done. I've set up 3 home studios that, over the years, and 2 of them I've done a lot of really great, important career work out of. And that was a lot of work, the patch bays, doing all that kind of stuff. But I got to tell you, the hardest thing I've ever done technically is this stuff, the videos, and just doing the whole live streaming thing. And my YouTube videos and my Instagram videos are getting to the point where I'm kind of telling more stories, and there's a lot of editing and having to film stuff. And oh my God. And I'm working on some courses right now. I'm working on some mixing courses. I'm working on a mixing course for live drums, which hopefully will be out in a few weeks. I'm hoping. Then I'll be doing courses on mixing like program drums, like pop and rap drums. I'm going to have courses on mixing vocals, and then you can get them all together in a package. I'm also going to have courses on production. But I got to tell you, doing the courses videos, that's probably the hardest thing I've ever done, to the point where I've slammed doors and thrown things. And it's mainly just because I never went to school for this. I've never really worked. I never interned at a studio and worked for other people. So this is all self-taught, and I kind of figured out my own way. So trying to explain to people how I do, it's kind of like giving somebody directions to your house when you've lived there for 20 years. You don't even know the names of the roads to your house. So you got to stop and think about stuff. And in the videos, you know, I want to make sure I'm explaining everything, because sometimes if I go online, I want to figure out something about video editing in DaVinci, which I don't know about. What'll drive me crazy is somebody's giving all this great information, and then they say something, and you see the mouse, and it clicks on some button, and it changes, and they don't tell you what they clicked on. And the video's so fast, you're going frame by frame to figure out where did the mouse go. And for the next hour, you can't see it on your screen. Then you finally figure it out. They just didn't mention it because they assume you know. So with the courses, I'm trying to make sure that I make them in such a way that everything's explained, which means I film all this stuff, and then after a few days of working on the course, I realized, like, oh my God, I didn't blah, blah, blah. Say you hold down shift and hit this thing. So it might seem a little rudimentary to some, but I want to make sure anybody can watch them and know. So anyway, long answer to whatever the question was, which I've already forgotten. It's just about Oh yeah, the hardest thing is like all the cameras and all the video stuff. That's hard. But yeah, I'll eventually do a video about my OBS setup, or maybe I'll do a live stream about it. It's gotten kind of complicated. Today we're only running 4 cameras today. I think on some of the other streams I had like 7 cameras. I had a camera up in the I have a drum recording room upstairs. So sometimes I've got a camera in there. I've got cameras on multiple musicians. I'll have a vocalist in the vocal booth. There'll be a camera in there, so it can get kind of complicated. And once again, I'd just like to add, if you're on Instagram and the video and sound are screwing up, I'm also streaming on Twitch and YouTube at the same time, so you can pop over there and check it out. All right, back to the funky guitar part here. I think I got to turn this guitar up. Why? Because I played it. Yeah, okay, there's some ego in there. This is the loop that Dakota gave to me. He was the one who started this song, and then we got in here and added all sorts of things to it. I think there's a little thing on there, I think. I think maybe the hi-hats. I think I might bring up the hi-hats just a little bit on this section.
What's your opinion about tuning your beats to 432 hertz versus 440 hertz?
1 second.
No worries.
What was the question?
What's your opinion about tuning your beats to 432 hertz versus 440 hertz?
Well, since 430, whatever it is, that's like the magic frequency. 400 and... What is it again? Oh, 440. That's the devil's tuning, I believe. And since I worship the devil... No, I'm only kidding. You know, man, maybe I should read up about that. And, you know, people have been talking about it. But look, every frequency, every note in the scale has a pitch associated with it, or a frequency, right? So no matter where you're on the scale, eventually you're going to hit 440 or something. You're going to hit, or it's going to be in there. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll try it. Maybe it'll make me feel better. Maybe if I do a song and I tune it to there, then people will start subscribing more and sending me money. Maybe I'll get some panties thrown at me. I don't know. But in all seriousness, I don't know. I think it might also be an issue with, to be honest with you, compatibility. It's like I could tune a song that way, but then I would have to, going in between songs and all that, it would be hell. Or if I work on something and send it to somebody, I'd have to explain to them, hey, you got to retune everything. So I don't know. I haven't taken it that seriously. If you've got a link of an article or something that explain it to me, please put it up there. I don't know. I think it sounds pretty good. Do you use the Voice of God plugin? I do not have that one. I think I demoed it. I thought it sounded pretty good, but no, I don't use that one.
Casey says, I think you start with drums as well, right? So kick 1, snare up 2, down, snare down 3, etc.
Wait, what now, Casey?
You start with drums.
Start my mix with drums? I mean, kind of. I'll do a rough mix, and then I'll go through and work on the drums. I kind of jump around. That's one of the things about working on courses. It's like, what is my order? And I'm trying to make the courses so there's some kind of logical order. And then I realize, man, I'll start working on the drums, and then I'll kind of pop it in with the music, and then I'll hear something in the vocals, and I'll work on the vocal, and then I come back over the drums, and I'm kind of all over the place.
He actually
on my desk.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Let's see. How do I have it set up? This it's a little messy right now because I've got some of the program drums mixed up with the live drums. I wanted to put them next together. But yeah, these are tracks here that I'm not using. So yeah, drums. Well, actually, I have bass. I have bass first, and the reason I do bass is because I want it close to the kick drum. And let me show it to you like this, because I kind of think about things in terms of like the sound and what I'm going to do with it. And so normally, like the bass is here. And as you can see, I got my program kick in here too, because I just wanted to see how they're lining them up. But usually I have the bass guitar or bass synth or whatever I'm using really close to the kick drum, because I'm going to end up spending a lot of time on the low end. Because I feel like in a mix, it's like, God, the mix could almost be divided into two sections. There's everything below, like, I don't know, I never really measured it, but like 80 hertz or 70 hertz or somewhere down there. That's all kick drum, bass, 808, and then everything else is to some degree high pass filtered and up there. If you took my kick drum out and any kind of sub kick or bass, pretty much all the low end goes away from the mix. And I do that to clean it up and just get just like a really punchy mix. But that's why I put the bass next to the drums. And then I'll have like next I've got like program drums or percussion. And then what happens next, if I was working on a console, I would probably be more rigid about this, Casey, but since I'm on Pro Tools, I'm moving the track order around a lot. But a lot of times, especially if it comes from a client, I'll actually order things after the drums based on when they happen in the song. Like, so if a bunch of instruments come on the first verse, they're going to be right under the drums, and then the chorus and all that. But since I produced this and I kind of know where everything's at, and it's kind of a mess. Same with the vocals, you know. So anyway, I go through all the drums, instruments. Then I'll typically have my master fader in the middle, and then I go to vocals. And then, you know, vocals are usually, depends on the song. Sometimes it'll start with the verses. If it's a rap song or a pop song, and typically the hook comes in first, I'll have the hook, then the verses in the order that they come in. So I hope that answers your question.
Says, why are you using CLA bundle if you don't have UAD plugins?
So yeah, I like the CLA plugins, and I don't have the bundle. All I've got is, as far as CLA is concerned, I've got I got this guy here. Where is it? I like this one a lot. This is one of my favorite compressors for guitars. That's about all I use it on. I've also got this. Where is it? I got the CLA 76. I think this is amazing for vocals. I pretty much only use this on vocals, maybe some guitars once in a while. And what other CLA stuff that might be all I have. I think I bought, do I have anything else by CLA? That might have been all I bought. It's all I really care about. Most of the other stuff I don't like. And then as far as UAD, I mean, I'm using here's a UAD plugin I use all the time. You know, the Shadow Hills model. And then I really like the Neve 1073, which I can also put, you know, into the console app and track through it. But I've already got a lot of mic pre's. I got to be honest with you, man. Like, everybody goes on about the UAD plugins, and I've got a few of them, but they just don't have the vibe I like. I don't even know how to describe it. I will say this, though. As far as UAD plugins, I'll bring this one up, and I'm just using the free version, like the, what do they call it, the legacy version. This thing right here, oh my God. As far as mid-range, I use this plugin here pretty much just for mid-range. Let me zoom in to give it some honor here. This sucker right here, my mid-range, man, like basses and electric guitars and sometimes acoustics. Right here, 700 hertz, 1K and 1.4K, and I'll boost this sucker, and that's about all I use it for. Sometimes if I'm on bass, I might, you know, give it a little 60 hertz and do something like that. But man, this plugin, I got to tell you, this is my favorite UAD plugin right here. That sucker is just amazing. But when it comes to the compressors, man, I got to tell you, I like the CLA stuff. And then for vocals, I'll just throw this up here. Where is it? I was using the McDSP compressor bank, and then they changed the design of them. I think they suck now. But I've been using this on vocals a lot for like really extreme. Here, I'll just throw it on. Well, I can't play the vocals on this song. It's not released yet. so I can't do that. But I'll use this, and I'll just do like a crazy high ratio with a super fast release and a pretty quick attack. And I like this plugin a lot because it's got all these different models on it. The digital, I use vintage and clean a lot. Sometimes I use smooth. So on vocals for the kind of like hype compressor, I'm either using this or I'm using the CLA 1176 model.
Is the Neve 73 plugin close to the actual hardware?
Well, that's a funny question because it's like, I love Neve 1073s, but, you know, working in a lot of different studios, you know, somebody would have like, some studio might have 4 actual vintage Neve 1073s, and they all sound different from each other. Some have a little more buzz, some sound cleaner, some sound dirtier. The plugin in here is actually pretty good. I do feel like it, where is it? Let me, Neve, I always have a hard time finding things in here. LMNOP. Oh, hold on. Is it this? I think it's this one here. Yeah, there. I mean, it's pretty good, man. I got to tell you, if I didn't have some good mic pre's, outboard mic pre's, I would use this kind of coming into the what they call the unison inputs on the back of my Apollo, and then you can record going through the plugin, which I've done a couple times. But hey, it's pretty good. One thing I will say about this thing is it does do that little Neve thing where if you just barely touch the high end like this, like just kind of go, mid-range is pretty good. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Does it sound like the real one? Yeah, I mean, more or less. I think my issue with it is like, I don't really have an issue with it. It sounds good. I do use it in mixing sometimes, but I do track through it. What I've got, and I don't have my roaming camera set up right now, but I've got these 2 mic pre's over here. They're in a lunchbox. They're called, but they're by a company called AML in the UK. They're handmade. They're called Easy 1073, which is a terrible name, but they're amazing. And I've got 2 of them. I think they cost around, it was like $800 or $900 each.
Something like that.
Yeah, I've got 2 of them. And plus they look cool. They look like from a science fiction movie. But to me, they sound more like a Neve than anything, any outboard mic pre I've ever used. Those things are whoo. So I have 2 of those. So those are my go-tos if I want that. But once I'm in the box, I'm in the box. I rarely go out to outboard gear once I'm inside the computer.
John 415 asks, they noticed that your speakers are pointing in the width of the room. Is there a reason why you didn't set up your desk pointing the length of the room?
Good question. Let's go to the room shot real quick. Okay, okay, so this room, this is my studio here at my home, and it's not perfect. I've still got my other studio, The Zone, down in Norcross, and I go there to finish up my mixes. This ceiling's a little low. Eventually, I'm going to have to probably build another control room. When I had it, and originally, if you look down that way, you see that wall down there with the star. That was the direction I faced, and I had some real bad issues with what do you call it? Like when the like null areas where like because of the sound waves bouncing through the room, if I just stepped back, 60 hertz would disappear. I could step 2 feet forward and 60 hertz was loud and I could never get it sounding good. And I tried all sorts of things. I got a massive bass trap here at the back end. Like it's literally like 6 feet deep. And it just, so I finally just in frustration, I turned it sideways and then I was like, oh, this sounds better. There's still a couple issues with it. But the other thing for me is that I work in the control room a lot. Sometimes I'll even have people track vocals sitting next to me with headphones on. I like everybody being in the room. So I wish we could. Hey, Harper, could you? I don't know if we should do this live, but maybe zoom out the. Why are we not on the room shot on? Oh, there we go. Yeah. Can we zoom out on the vertical a little bit? So people can, I don't know how much is left in the shot there. Yeah, zoom out. Yeah, he's going to. So the point being, no, the other way. Well, yeah, no, you're right. So it's kind of a wide room, and I like to have people with me in the control room. So sometimes I'll have 3 or 4 people, and when it's wide like this, as opposed to the long way and them being behind me, I can sit here and I just can look over and they can kind of get here and be near the speakers with me. And there's a lot more room for setup. I have people set up keyboards and racks in here. So there's a certain point where I feel like it's more important to have good communication, for everybody to feel good and have a great vibe than have the sound perfect. And I know that might sound funny, but there's a certain point like, look, the sound only needs to be so good. And that might sound like a weird thing for me to say because I will obsess on sound, but there is a point where I'm going to focus more on the vibe, communication, all that kind of stuff than the sound. I'll make sacrifices if that makes any sense.
Have you mixed a song? Well, wait, before I move on, don't you have a document on your Patreon that's some basics about setting up a home?
Yeah, on my Patreon, I've got like several documents about setting up your home studio. It's pretty basic stuff, but it amazes me, some of my clients, and I'll have them send me pictures or they'll explain their room. I'm like, oh, no. Here's some very basic things that you can do. So yeah, that's on there. Also, there's okay, so Robin is saying, I hear a lot of mixing engineers saying that using the same parametric EQ over your mix can cause phase, and many suggest using linear phase EQ, which is the best option. Is this true? I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't actually EQ my mix that much. I have a submix for the instrument and the vocals. I don't really do much EQing on the actual mix. I'm going to sound like an idiot here, but everybody said linear phase is better, so I just use that. You know, at a certain point, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I mixed records that ended up being #1 Billboard charting records that I mixed on my my Soundcraft Ghost console on ADATs with just a handful of compressors and like I had one distressor and I had some cheap God, what was it? No, not Ashley. It was Alesis compressors and all that, and I didn't, that's all I had, and the little. I just made it sound cool, And then once I moved into Pro Tools, I still didn't have that much gear, and I don't know. But sometimes I'll use multi-band compressors on mixes, maybe. But I don't know. I kind of do so much work on the individual instruments. I don't really put that on the master so much.
Somebody asks, have you mixed a song past or recently without any compression, just EQ?
Like, you mean compression on the master fader? I mean, there's always some compression in there somewhere. Compression is my friend. No, I mean, because I'm just trying to get to the final. I don't want to leave too much up to the mastering guy. It's like, I'm just doing my thing. Oi Bernardo. I don't know if I'm saying that. How do you clean all that room? I'm not joking. Not well. And if the cameras were higher quality, you'd see what the mess is. Thank God I'm not filming my floor right now. I've been down here working. I've been working these long hours the last few days. I'm working on a new video and the choruses and all that. So it's a mess. There was actually dirty clothes in here because I kept changing my shirt in here and throwing it on the floor. But no, the cleaning thing is like a pain in the butt. John
415 also asks, what size is your room?
Hold on. Go to the room shot.
Are you about to measure?
I was actually kind of wondering about this. Okay, hold on, John. I'm actually going to measure it properly. Hold on. Let me get... This one will be fine. Hold on.
You want me to hold on this end?
Well, it's so crowded in here. I don't know how to freaking...
Look, straight like this. Give me the...
Well, let me go this way first.
All right.
Oh, man, there's just shit in the way. Here, let me measure down here.
Lord.
Explain to them what's going on.
So, somebody's interested in what the dimensions of this room are that Billy's using for his control room.
Ah!
So, he's run and gotten a tape measure because he said he's been wondering the same thing.
Okay, it's 12 and a half deep. 12 and a half.
We have 12 and a half feet deep.
This one's not long enough. I'm gonna have to stop it. And then this is so that's 15 right there. And then here, just put that up against the wall. No, the wall. So what's 15 times 7.5?
Times?
Oh no, 15 plus 7.5. 15
20,
plus
22 and a half, is that right?
Okay, so it was 15 by plus 7.5. I already forgot what the damn depth was.
12 and a half.
Okay, 12.5. Okay, so John, who was asking John?
Over on YouTube.
The dimensions over on YouTube. The dimensions are 12.5 deep
12, yeah.
by 15 plus 7.5 wide. I can't.
No.
Well, 15 plus 7.5. What's that? See, here's the problem, John. You just shut the whole stream down by asking me a mathematical question. Don't ever do that again. You want to stump me? Ask me something mathematical, and it'll be like, Gah! So it's not the golden ratio, John. It's not a great. To be honest with you, this room is not a great mixing room. It's not
just working with what we got.
Yeah, it's working with what I got. I need to actually. There's a bedroom upstairs that would be great for mixing, but one of my boys is living in it. I'd have to kick him out, and I don't really want to bring clients and people up to that part of my house. Not for privacy, just so much as just because it's always a mess. But it's a great room. This one's a little weird. I'm gonna eventually have to build. I'm probably gonna have to build a room out back, and it'll be fine because it's just I've got space right behind the house, and height-wise it'll work out. So I'm probably gonna build a control room out there at some point, so I don't have to keep going down to the zone to finish my mixes. I can kind of start my mixes here, but anything in the low end, I just got to go down there, and I can finish up my mixes down there on a song in 15 minutes. I get it close, but I can never quite nail it. This room is weird. There'll be sometimes if I'm playing bass, and if I'm sitting in a certain part, I can't tell the difference between an F and an E on the bass. I'm like, God, I swear I'm out of tune, but the tuner says I'm in tune. It'll literally sound like the wrong note. So it's not a great room for mixing, but it's a great vibe up here. And nobody's complaining that actually comes here. I just can't totally get the mix done here. Just being honest with you.
Should let you know we're just past an hour now.
Oh, we're just past an hour. So Zadillion. Oh, you've been mixing and
The
mastering?
question says he's been mixing and mastering 10 years there in the Middle East, and nobody cares about the quality. What should they do?
Man, if you care about the quality, dude, just keep doing and try to find some other clients, you know? I think, to be honest with you, there was a certain point with rap music, because I'd done all the, not all, but I did, a lot of Little John stuff, Yin Yang Twins, Bone Crusher, a bunch of those guys in the late 90s, early 2000s. And then there was a certain point where all those guys started making movies and doing other stuff and not really doing so many records. So I was getting these younger clients, and I was just like, y'all are focusing on the wrong stuff. And I just needed to get out. I don't really do, about the only rap I do these days is like I'm working on something with Kane from Yin Yang Twins, and occasionally some stuff comes in, but not like that. So I had to get out because I want to care. So I'd say keep caring. Try to find other clients. Also work on your own stuff and make it great and put it out there so that people can see. But I don't think you should ever give in, because eventually, with me, I'm a terrible networker. And it's not like I advertise. My advertisement is my work. And people go, oh, there's been some projects I did that sounded really good, and some of them even weren't necessarily hit songs. They were just stuff that got out in the world, and I would get work from them because they sounded good.
Gosh, some of them were even unreleased, but the right
people
heard them.
I had a couple albums that were unreleased. Somehow they got out into the business and brought me work. Robin, you're saying, can you please suggest any headphones that is great for mixing? No, I can't. I don't really mix on headphones. I keep meaning to get into it. I can't really vouch for anything. And then Pacifico.
Studio K.
Yes, I do not use a sub with my NS10Ms. I do have a sub that's with my Halflers. Yeah, never give in, Bobo. Never give in. And by the way, thanks again for putting my tape rewinding sounds in your song. Dude, I got to tell you, that was just like, you sent me the link and I'm listening to it, and it took me a second to realize, like, oh, wait. Oh, shit. He's using it. And if anybody's interested, I had a video about my reel-to-reel analog machine, and he said, oh, I wish I had some rewinding sound so during sessions I could play the tape rewinding sound between takes. So I actually...
Was that on recording on my Tascam MS-16?
No. Well, it might be. I don't know. It was just something that I had out.
I was going to
link.
So
there's actually, if you go to my Patreon, it's free for download to anybody. If you're a really nerd, you can go download sounds of me hitting the buttons and the tape rewinding and stopping and playing. It's some nerdy stuff. But anyway, that's my advice. I know what you're saying, where people don't care about quality. I feel like I went through that in the 90s too with rock and roll. I was, doing rock and roll for years, and then I got in the 90s, and these rock and roll bands were just like lame. Like, they never wanted big low end, and nobody would do guitar solos, and they kind of didn't want it to sound too good. And it's one of the reasons I got into rap music, because at least these guys were like when I started working on rap, we would spend forever on the mixes. I remember Little John just thinking, like, God, does this guy ever freaking sleep? We'd be up so late and examining every little thing about the mix and going and listening to it in the club and then coming back and all that. And it's like, oh man, these people care and they're not afraid, And so that was kind of basically what I did. I had to leave. I had to find other people to work with. It's a little different now. Whenever I'm doing rock now, people do care, but it was just this night. That's why I'm not a big 90s. I'm not saying all 90s rock, but the 90s thing was just kind of a drag for me, man. Thanks, John 415. I'm probably going to end the stream here. Huh? What?
I was going to say, yeah, I think it's about time.
Kit's telling me, Kit, here, let's see Kit. Show me Kit. There she is. She keeps me on track here. So she's like, okay, you can only stream for an hour. Why? Why? Because, you can come back to me now. Why? Because I actually have work to do. I got a video to work on, and I kind of...
And you actually do need to do this mix as well.
I do need to work on this, yeah. Yes, exactly. Push the boundaries. And let me tell you something else, man. I just want to add this in here about your role as a mixer and an engineer. It's, as a producer, you can put your opinion. You're there for your opinion. As a producer, that's what it's about. Your opinion. Mixing, yeah, it's kind of your opinion technically, but when it comes to the art and all that, a lot of times as an engineer and mixer, you got to kind of be kind of quiet and all that. But I tell you, for me, what helped me is that even if I was engineering on a session and I wasn't producing, I'm just supposed to set up mics and keep my mouth shut, man, I would make a point to make sure everybody knew that I freaking cared. If I was doing a session, I don't care who the hell it was, and I just thought, man, maybe a different mic would sound better, and they had somebody in there doing vocals, I would stop and say, hold on, and I just switch out the vocal mic. I wouldn't just pick that leave with what was there. Just want to make sure people understood that I cared and I was paying attention to things. Oh, thanks for hanging out, Paul. Appreciate it. Glad you're here. DJ, appreciate it. It's been cool. But yeah, I do have to get back to work here. I will hopefully be getting this next video out soon where I'm dealing with tape delay. And in case, well, you can't see it right now, but actually I think you can on the widescreen. My tape machine back there, that's a whole long story, getting the reel-to-reel working, and I finally got the tape delay working. I've got a video coming out about it. It's kind of about that and some other things too. Hopefully that'll be out in the next few days. It's just taking a long time to do because I ended up having almost 3 hours of footage messing around the tape delay and going like, oh my God, what am I doing? Why did I film so much stuff? So I've been digging through and getting rid of stuff. So yeah. Yes. So John, I am working on some mixing courses. I'm starting out with mixing live drums. And it's taken me a while to do it just because I've never done courses, and I'm kind of getting the workflow together. So first course will be mixing live drums. I'm also going to have a course on super basic mixing stuff. I think a lot of people that are, some of them sometimes are even kind of a little more advanced. There's things maybe they skip. So that one will be something that you just get for free with whatever course you buy. I'll be making mixing tutorials on all different things like vocals, instrument guitars, and stuff like that. Some will be more specific on effects. And then there'll probably be some bundle where you can get them all. But it's going to take me months to get them all out. I'm just working on the first one now and figuring out the process. But thanks, man. Those will be coming out soon because I'm trying to balance this in between producing and mixing. And I've got a lot of work right now, and I'm kind of behind on it. And then, and then I do live streams and I make goofy videos. So of me doing things like running in slow motion and my wacky sessions. So anyway... But thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. So everybody, I'm going to get back to work. I appreciate everybody hanging out. I will be back next Wednesday as usual, and I appreciate everybody watching. So see you next Wednesday. Y'all take it easy. Thanks for hanging out and watching my live stream and commenting and asking questions. Take it away. Take 2, take 3, take 4, take 5, take whatever.